just like in our case, that this organization they pay attention on hiring and training. Hiring meaning that they try to make sure that they get good people, they get right one in organization. And after that, it's not just they get good people, but they want to make that people better and better. And the reason, okay, before I talking about reason, but this is just definition. Later, we will get training and development, but this is a little bit different. When we talk about training, it means that we try to equip the employee with the current work skill that employees can use, to perform that job that is training. Therefore, maybe, for instance, why for training, in my field, I apply, to maybe seminar or in a conference. That is, and I can use in my current job, that is training. But for development, it means that prepare employee to take on more responsibility in the future. Therefore, when we're talking about development, most of the time it includes leadership development program. But right now, we focus on training. And as you can see that this is very more important than ever. The reason is because environment change very fast, especially like technology. When technology change, maybe something that employee used to know, not anymore because they change equipment, change technology. And this is story about AT&T. I believe that I mentioned about AT&T to you before, talking about differences between AT&T and Netflix. For Netflix, when technology changed, Netflix choose to let go of those people who cannot use the new technology and find new people who can use the technology. But for AT&T, which is very old firm to an average working time of employees is about 20-something years old. Therefore, employees they don't know the current technology, especially calling system. But for AT&T did, they invest on training. They sponsor employees to pursue their nano degree or even a master degree or online course to help employees to keep up with the new technology. Or maybe something change, market change. So therefore, this is creates needs for organization to do training. And I think it's Kun Bantulam something that's talking about importance of training. Say something like, well, lots of people look at training just like expense in the organization because you have to spend, you have to pay for training for employee, and not only training. Sometimes you have to pay for if you take employee to hotel, it include all other things that you have to pay. Therefore, lots of people don't think that training is necessary because it's just like expense. And especially when employees learn, they're better, so they have chance that they will leave organization, right? But when they get better, they have skills, so they have more options in their life, and they can easily leave organization. So some people ask, so maybe it's not a good reason for organization to invest or to spend money on training because we have what happens if that employees leave organization. But what executives say, but what if we don't train and those employees stay with us? So we just get people with not up to their skill working for us. Therefore, it's something that's actually, the good mindset in HR is that you try to make people to be better, that they are good, and you try to make good people want to stay with you. To make people good, this is mean that, get better and better. This can come from training, development. But for one people to stay in the organization, it can be from organizational culture, can be from compensation, and especially maybe from their boss, their manager. And this is a type of training. Maybe just with the job technical related, like customer service, if that you work in customer service department, equipment operation, record keeping needs, or it can be required or a regular, for example, according to law, safety, compliance, rates and hour that employee need to know. Or it can be interpersonal problem solving, for example, like communication. It can be work with people, teamwork, or it can be developmental and career, business trend, strategic thinking, that kind of thing that we can equip employees. That's next. Let me announce today, since training become get more important in organization. So organization invent one position that will take care of training organization that we call Chief Learning Officer, which is actually fancy one, part of HR. And this is example from your textbook that the advisor try to train employee by using iPad. Because nowadays everyone have iPad, so they can just like do learning, go online, and even have like quiz, so they can keep up with new medicine and how to use that medicine and work closely with doctors and other customers. All right, so this is one quick presentation, so I'm gonna skip this. But let me talk about this because I think this is quite important. When we talk about training, so one question that some people ask me actually, Ajahn, what should I train my employees? Given that I'm HR professor and I'm in business school, but actually the best way to answer that is not just because what is hot in the field, but you have to begin with access needs for training. It's not just just like this is hard, so we should have this training for everyone. But we have to begin with what do employee need to know? Because when we talk about training, it's time, it's money, it's effort. So therefore, we have to begin with needs assessment. Okay, how can we do needs assessment? Which is mean that each individual probably wants different type of different type of training. It depends on what they lack of. First, we can begin with organization, meaning that organization strategy. Just like AT&T, that's I'm just show you example. That's when AT&T they have strategy that they will go more crowding system. Therefore, this is their direction, so that it's required employees to know about this. So that this is one information that we have to train employee about. That's type of system that's from organization, and it can come from person. Person come from each individual. What do they need? And once again, part of our person analysis can come from evaluation. Because somebody supervisor evaluate subordinate and get like gap. Or for example, like if organization have like competency, most organization they look at competency gap, meaning that standard for competency and what competency that employee have. That can be gap and can be used in training. That is person analysis. And another source of this assessment is task. We look at tasks, and once again, this is part of job description, job specification that we done earlier. That can be important information when we do this assessment, this analysis. Therefore, when I did some training roadmap for one bank, and one important information that they asked for from their HR is their job description and job specification. That start from that and put together with person and an organization. We can come up with roadmap training needs for each individual in the organization. All right. So an examination of course of performance deficiency in a group or individual is called what's type of needs analysis that we did? A, B, C, or D? The answer is
C.
C. Very good. All right. So that's okay. This is strategic initiative. Most of the time, when organizations have a strategy, for example, they would like to improve their customer service, so they would have training, just like what happened with Starbucks. And actually, this is in your textbook that Starbucks have problem with the way that Starbucks partner treated the black customer, something like that. And after that big incident, Starbucks has to do a lot of training for their employees, that for customer service, and also improve employee engagement, ensure that employee have opportunity to develop, ensure that employee understand career opportunity, their career path, and so on. All right, that's okay. Can you answer this question? Training most effectively address motivation problems, skill and ability deficiency, lack of performance feedback, or lack of resources to do job. And the answer is B. Very good. I have this question because most of the time when organization experience problems, they try to solve problems with training. For example, when have high turnover, let's train. But actually, when training is not something like magical that can solve every problem. You have to go to root cause of the problem. Training can solve just only if employee lack skill or ability. But for example, if employee lack engagement, maybe not maybe it's other thing that we have to do to increase employee engagement. That's what we have to do. And next is readiness for training. And this is from my own experience. We have in-house training. So most of the time our faculties have to do in-house training for organization. And from my own experience is that sometimes employees just go and attend seminar or training because they have to sign their name, make sure that they attend seminar. But in class they do other things, they don't pay attention. So this is a problem of readiness of training. You probably can just people to sign up and then they show up, but it doesn't mean that they learn. So and next step. We have to make sure that employee go to training with learning attitude, and this is what manager should do to support training. Before send employees to train, understand content of the training. So after the training we can assign work that employees can use from what they learn. Because if they go to training and after training they have no chance to use that skill, it's useless. People forgot. So managers should know what employees will learn, know how training relates to what employee needs and organization needs and manager need. Even employees on how they apply training and so on. This is part of it's not in the other word. When we talk about training, it's not about just HR, but line managers should be involved in training to support and to give opportunity for employee to attend training and have chance to apply what they learn. All right. In that case, which of the following comments from a manager will support training? A. You can attend the course, but you have to make up the work you miss on your own time. Meaning that after training, you have to go back to office and work. So you think that people would like to attend training? No because I have to work longer than I should. I'm glad that you were trained on X, but I need you to keep working on Y for the next few months. This is not good because trained on X. Okay, good luck with your training next week. But what is it? So if no idea what employees will learn. Therefore, the answer is D. Your performance has improved, especially with regard to the aspect you have been trained. So this is something that's talking about involvement of manager. Okay, training program. Good presentation already talk about this in detail. So I'm just this is example. This is latte model from Starbucks because Starbucks would like to make sure that they provide excellent service. And some customer can be very difficult. And this is a latte method that to handle difficult customer, which is listen to the customer. When they complain, when they want this and when they want that, should not begin with explain what the problem occur. Because if Partner begin with explain what the problem occurs. This become argument. We don't want that to happen. So when customers not happy, to begin with listen first and then acknowledge that complaint. Take action by solving the problem. Thank you for that, and then explain why the problem occurs. So this is that's model in training. This is something that's from the presentation, so I'm gonna pass, and this is exactly the same picture from the presentation. Okay, training can be done in-house or outsourced. It depends on what organization have resource in terms of money, in terms of people, or expertise. But some organizations they prefer in-house, because they believe that because they have specific experience that they want that supervisor to train as employees. But some organizations believe that we want outsider, for example, like professor or consultant, so share an idea. That's different from what they know. That's can be. This is just policy. What training have you taken? Maybe of this, and this is from group presentation. So I think you probably get an idea about this type of training or this from group presentation, and probably you have direct experience with this type of training. But let me ask you, which type of training that you like the most? We have, most of popular one is classroom, or we have audio, visual training, computer, on a job simulation. And by the way, what we did, the Everest, that is simulation. Business game can be fun too. You have to make decision and then submit your decision to professor, and professor will run program and come up with financial performance. After that. And then go to the next round. Behavior modeling, experimental, team building, something like that. Team training, cross training, action learning. Which one you enjoy the most? I think you probably feel different, but I don't think that you repeat classroom. Unfortunately, classroom is what have been used widely. Maybe because it's efficient. It's cheap, in terms of cost, and this is this is percentage of training, which is social learning, social networks do just 5%, but I would think that it's gonna increase more and more, since we are enjoying social learning. All right, so that's from method of training, which is that's from the presentation. Okay, and this is number that we often heard about method of training. Lots of organizations they claim that they have this number, 20%, 10%, which is they would like to rely on the job experience, 20%, 20% mentor and coaching, and only 10% from classroom course and living. This is what organizations claim that they are doing. But from the picture, the number that we got, we still see that the highest percentage of method training is classroom training. But maybe it's not what actually happened, but maybe what they want to be. But maybe it's quite hard to rely 20% on the job experience because in reality it's require a lot of work from manager and also from mentor and coaching. All right, so that's method. And next, let's talk about your question number 2, evaluating training program, which is. Since we have to spend money, to spend time, so it's we need to know that how much or what we got out of from that investment, and this is outcome that we can get from training, cognitive, how we think. For example, we can maybe some organization they have mind map, something like that. That can have something to do with cognitive outcome or skill-based outcome. You learn new skill. Effective outcome meaning that you change the way that you believe or you think, what you feel. Results, you can actually write a drive result. But this is, I think, be the big problematic one. Return on investment. It's very hard to calculate return on investment from training. Nonetheless, some organizations they come up with the number that they believe that this is that return on investment from training, which is quite, I think it's very subjective. But anyway, this is example that how we can measure each, for example, cognitive outcome. We can measure with test. Work sample, skill can be work sample for sure because this is skill. Effective can be, by acts, interview, attitude survey. Result can be from observation or data that will actually happen. And return on investment, number, crunch the number that you put in your formula. That's the way that we can do. All right, so and it can be done in terms of post-test. P-test, post-test, meaning that have trainee do the test before training and after training do the post-test. Post-test only with comparison group, or P-test, post-test with comparison group, or time series, meaning that from time 1, time 2, time 3, look at performance result of employees. All right, so let's answer this together. The most effective way to measure employee satisfaction with training is and learning acquire is, since we have only 4 choices. Maybe these 4 choices are not the best, but pick one is the best from these 4. And the answer is yes, of course, yeah, very good. For employee satisfaction, very easy. So how you like, maybe this course, instructor, material of instructor, place, something like that. That is kind of from survey. And learning can pre-test, compare between P and post-test with the control group. Control group meaning that group that do not attend training. All right, so last, one form of training, and actually this is very first training that employee got when they enter organization is orientation. And actually it's essential because it's help employee to adapt themselves to the new work environment. So this is a goal for onboarding process, meaning that we get people in organization. We can begin with understand company policy, rule and regulation, understand job performance, expectation, understand company history, and understand development and working in interpersonal relationship in organization. All right, I think that's all for training. Okay, once again, next week you're gonna do your group presentation. So just like last time, that's each group have 20 minutes in your group presentation, and after that we have Q&A, and then you can turn in your paper later on May 1st. Any question about your term project? Okay, if no, good luck on your term paper. I know that you don't have a lot of time, but just try to do your best. And if you need my advice, feel free to ask me. Right.